Hey, it's Drybear. The brand new weapon that came along with the new Colossus, the Frost Watcher. I've been testing a whole bunch. We have it maxed out. So today I'm gonna give you the best build to optimize its damage output. So this is the optimal build for using it. It does actually take full advantage of the new module charge amplification. It gives it a nice bonus value to it just because the core crit chance is so unbelievably low. Unfortunately, with this build setup, you won't be able to utilize either of the two base sockets from the catalyzation that you get with the weapon. So this is a whopping 10 catalyst setup for this. And actually, if you're looking for full value out of the Frost Watcher, you're going to want to use it with a Viessa build or with a Haley build that focuses on skill damage, not her Sniper Zenith build setup. And that's because for Haley specifically, we know that when she goes into her Zenith ultimate, she heals down. You're going to be dealing both firearm damage and your chill power damage as two separate hits. However, the reason we run things like Piercing Light over the Afterglow Sword is that when you switch from your normal weapon into your Zenith state, you're going to lose any weapon buffs that come along with it, and this does include the chill power bonus that we have with the Frost Watcher. So with the Frost Watcher fully maxed out, you're going to get 0 on the negatives, which is super nice. You're also going to get a perfect trigger rate on lowering the target's chill resistance to a maximum of minus 25% with a generous 7-second duration, which is very cool. The Sub-Zero sensation is a buff that you get for hitting a weak point from a distance, which will allow you to stack up 32% chill power, which is really awesome. It's very, very good. And also, if you want to run Haley with Cold Fury on her skill builds, you can also get the bonus of chill synchronization. You get the reduction, like it removes the slow from her Cold Fury. So this ability here that slows you down, the Frost Watcher is a combo ability which will allow you to ignore this movement slow if you have the buff active. Now, the functionality for this weapon is that you want to be shooting targets at a weak point from a distance of at least 12.5 meters. Each of these squares is 10 meters, and this is half. So basically, from like where this target is, you want to be about this distance away at all times. You want to be this distance or further. This will allow you to make sure you stack it up. And just like many of the weapons in the game, there is a visual feedback that lets you know when you're able to activate the passive. So if you look at it and you're able to shoot and hit a target, you see how when the scope freezes over, that tells you have the buff as well as the buff icon that you have next to your name. Sometimes we don't get these on mods and for weapons, so it's nice to be able to have that damage coming out and being able to do that there. So in general, I think the weapon is actually pretty decent. It's very good for a mobbing or skill-based non-Zenith Haley, as well as almost all of the Viessa builds, and I would think it's definitely worth using for Viessa. Outside of that, however, the damage is kind of lackluster and not really worth using if you're not going to take advantage of the chill power and chill resistance reduction passive. Essentially, this weapon replaces Clairvoyance as the chill weapon of choice for Haley and Viessa when they're making skill-based builds, because it just has not only the elemental resistance down, the chill resistance down, but it also adds some nice chill power on top of it, and it has better uptime DPS. Now, you'll notice that the DPS here is not theoretical DPS anymore, it is a final DPS. So I went the extra mile to do a different, this is not going to be a theoretical DPS on how much you can increase it. This is a final DPS number when you have the full build put together and everything optimized. So this number on average is going to be higher than the last round, and I'm calling this basically season 1 of damage numbers or weapon testing. So I changed the color of the title on the background so you can see it a little bit easier, and you'll notice that as we go back and retest the old weapons for the new mods and some of the new things we have available in the game now, that these numbers are on average going to be higher. If you're looking at the old system for my weapon testing, the Frost Watcher on the old methodology is about 690,000 DPS, so not super special. It's not like way up there. It's not an amazing weapon for pure damage, but it does give you 25% chill resist on the target and 32% chill power on yourself, which makes it perfect for Viessa and mobbing Haley or skill power Haley. However, again, because we're not using the 2 default catalyst slots for the weapon, we're going to have to catalyze it 10 times to get a full build fully functional for this one here. So you will need 10 katas and a mushroom or an energy activator on this as well. Your best in slot 4 rolls are going to be firearm attack, bonus attack versus Colossus, chill attack, and crit strike damage, because we're already increasing the chill or reducing the chill resistance on the target. Chill attack just makes it a very easy pickup, and we're also going to run chill enhancement as well to coincide with that. Sharp precision shot and fire rate up are my choices for this. You can run real life fighter if you play that way. I know not everyone likes running real life fighter in general, general. It's like not their favorite way to play the game, but it does give you a small increase over sharp precision shot. However, I still would recommend sharp precision shot over real life fighter or mental focus in this case, mainly because even when the weapon is fully maxed out, it does still require you to trigger the bonus, right? So the elemental resist down, chill resist down is on every single hit. It has a 100% trigger rate on the target. However, the buff to yourself, the 32% chill power, is a 30% trigger rate. So you want to be able to look at the scope, make sure you have over 13 or 12.5 meters increase on the target, and you'll shoot and you notice I didn't get the buff, got the buff. And this can sometimes go long. Testing this out with my Viesa, I've had this go for like almost 8 to 10 seconds straight of not getting the buff to proc, and you're kind of waiting before you use your abilities because you're waiting for that big chill power buff to come online. And if it doesn't trigger on the first or second or third or fourth hit, the fire rate will help you a lot with that as well. On top of the fact that when you actually have this weapon, you're stacking up the passive for the chill resist. So having the SPS, sharp precision shot, and fire rate up means that you can not only get a faster uptime and trigger rate for Sub-Zero sensation, your chill power, but also means that as you switch targets, you can more quickly stack up the chill resistance debuff on the target as well, meaning you can use your abilities more freely for Viesa and for Haley. And as was brought up in chat, if you are someone who wants to use this almost entirely for mobbing, you never bring it into a Colossus battle, you can swap out bonus attack versus Colossus to one of the factions, or you can put weak point damage here as this is here, but I think it's still worth getting this because weak point damage is a very small increase for this weapon, as you don't really have a crazy amount of scaling off of that by base. Then we're just going to stack as much firearm attack as we can. Charge amplification works great here because the base crit chance is 6%. We're fine losing the crit damage on this. So charge amplification, action and reaction, rifling reinforcement gives us a massive increase in firearm attack. With the firearm attack we get from sharp precision and the fire rate. We run chill enhancement with our chill attack on our reroll so that we can actually have some extra value there. Then we don't double weak point because it's our next best stat after these here. And then we get have aiming and weak point sight from that. And lastly, we put reload expert and recycling genius because unfortunately, because we're kind of nixing crit here, and we're not getting a whole bunch of crit scaling, weak point is kind of okay, but we've already maxed it anyways. Rounds isn't super useful. Your highest after this is going to be reload expert and recycling genius as far as value add for your final DPS value, as it's just going to keep your uptime going. It allows you to also string together your buffs and debuffs on the target by making sure that you're not reloading for too long before you refresh the buff timer on yourself. But that is the Frostwatcher. I would say in general, my recommendation is don't use this weapon outside of just Viesa or for skill power or mobbing Haley. You can't use this for your Zenith sniper Haley, but for other Haley builds that use the new cryo mod or just using mobbing in general, it does work well. And then for Viesa, it's a great pickup. This basically replaces clairvoyance as the next, the new chill power based weapon. Outside of that, if you're not running Viesa or Haley with skill power, you probably don't want to run this weapon because it just doesn't do as much as other weapons. And it's also not super cheap either. As you can see that generally I try to keep the catalyst cost as low as possible for these optimal builds. But in this case, you really do need 10 catalysts to get this fully online because you can't even actually utilize the 2 catalyst slots that they give you. You have to recatalyze every single slot to get this fully online. And the DPS is respectable. The damage bonus is very nice. The fact that you can get 32% chill power for a Viesa or for a mobbing Haley is very good. But again, if you're not those 2 characters, I wouldn't recommend it. You'll find this build sheet down below in the comments in the description, and I'll probably be revisiting the weapons as well, trying to test out the new modules that we have available and just see how we can work things in towards the end of Season 1. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.